2 weeks before my wedding, I discovered something that completely destroyed my trust in the person I loved the most. And it all started with a phone that wasn't supposed to be there. That night, I got home earlier than usual. My fiancé wasn't home yet, which wasn't strange. He often stayed late at work. But when I walked into the living room, I noticed something on the coffee table. A phone. Not his usual one. At first, I thought maybe he bought a new phone. But something felt strange. The screen lit up. A message appeared. It said only 2 words. Miss you. My heart immediately started racing. The contact name was saved as Don't Answer. For a moment, I just stared at the screen, trying to convince myself it meant nothing. Maybe it was work, maybe it was spam. But deep down, I already knew. Something was wrong. I picked up the phone. My hands were shaking. The phone wasn't locked, which was strange, because my fiancé locked everything. Slowly, I opened the messages, and what I saw made my stomach drop. Dozens of conversations, late-night texts, inside jokes, plans, messages like, I wish I could stay with you tonight. And I can't wait until she finds out. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. She? Was that me? I scrolled further. Then I found the worst message. It was sent just 1 hour earlier. I'll tell her soon, I promise. My heart started pounding, because tomorrow we were supposed to meet the wedding planner. And in 2 weeks, we were getting married. I sat there for a long time, trying to think, trying to understand. But suddenly something else caught my attention. A photo. She had sent him a photo. I opened it, and the moment I saw her face, everything became even worse. Because I knew her. She wasn't a stranger. She was someone I had met before. Someone who had even been inside our house. Her name was Emily. She worked in the same office as my fiancé. And 3 months earlier, she had come to our engagement party. She had hugged me, smiled at me, and congratulated us. For a moment, I felt like I was going to be sick. But then something inside me changed. Instead of confronting him right away, I had a different idea. I wanted to know everything. So I put the phone back on the table, exactly where I found it. Then I waited. 2 hours later, I heard the door open. My fiancé walked inside. He smiled when he saw me and kissed my forehead. Hey, you're home early. I forced a smile. Yeah, work was slow today. He walked into the kitchen, started making dinner, acting completely normal, like nothing had happened, like he wasn't secretly planning to destroy our entire future. That night I barely slept. Instead, I made a plan. The next morning, I called my best friend. I told her everything, every message, every photo, every lie. She was silent for a long time. Then she asked one question. What are you going to do? And suddenly the answer was clear. I'm not canceling the wedding. There was a pause. Then she said slowly, What? I'm going through with it, but not the way he expects. Over the next 2 weeks, I acted completely normal. Wedding dress fittings, dinner with family, final planning. Meanwhile, I quietly prepared something else. Something no one else knew about, including my fiancé. On the morning of the wedding, everything looked perfect. Flowers, guests, music. My fiancé looked nervous but happy. When I walked down the aisle, everyone stood up. My father held my arm. The music played, and my fiancé smiled at me like he was the luckiest man in the world. But he had no idea what was coming. When I reached the altar, the officiant began speaking. Everything was going exactly as planned. Until the moment he asked the question, Do you take this man to be your husband? The room was silent. Everyone waited for my answer. Instead, I turned around and looked directly at someone in the crowd. Emily. She was sitting in the 3rd row, My fiancé had invited half his office, including her. Slowly, I walked down from the altar. Every guest was confused. My fiancé looked terrified. But I didn't stop until I reached her seat. Then I handed her a small envelope. Inside were printed screenshots of every message she had sent. The entire room went silent. I looked at her and said calmly, "If you want him, you can have him." Then I turned back to the altar, looked at my fiancé, and said the final words he never expected to hear. "I don't." The wedding ended right there. No ceremony, no marriage, just truth. And sometimes the most powerful revenge is simply walking away.